The Jefferson Memorial is a presidential memorial in Washington, D.C., dedicated to Thomas Jefferson, 1743 to 1826, one of the most important of the American founding fathers, as the main drafter and writer of the Declaration of Independence, member of the Continental Congress, governor of the newly independent Commonwealth of Virginia, American minister to King Louis XVI and the Kingdom of France, first U.S. Secretary of State under the first President George Washington, the second Vice President of the United States under second President John Adams, and also the third President, 1801 to 1809, as well as being the founder of the University of Virginia at Charlottesville, Virginia. The neoclassical memorial building on the tidal basin off the Washington Channel of the Potomac River was designed by the architect John Russell Pope and built by the Philadelphia contractor John McShane. Construction of the building began in 1939 and was completed in 1943. The bronze statue of Jefferson was added in 1947. The Jefferson Memorial is managed by the National Park Service of the United States Department of the Interior under its National Mall and Memorial Parks Division. In 2007, it was ranked 4th on the list of America's favorite architecture by the American Institute of Architects. It became apparent that the site was well suited for another high-profile memorial since it sat directly south of the White House. By 1901, the Senate Park Commission, better known as the Macmillan Commission, had proposed placing a Pantheon-like structure on the site hosting the statues of the illustrious men of the nation, or whether the memory of some individual shall be honored by a monument of the first rank may be left to the future. No action was ever taken by Congress on this issue. The completion of the tidal basin inlet bridge in 1908 helped to facilitate the recreational usage of East and West Potomac parks. In 1918, large liquid chlorine dispensers were installed under the bridge to treat the water and make the tidal basin, also known as Twining Lake, suitable for swimming. The tidal basin beach, on the site of the future memorial, opened in May 1918 and operated as a whites-only facility until 1925, when it was permanently closed to avoid the question of racial integration. A design competition was held for a memorial to Theodore Roosevelt in 1925. The winning design was submitted by John Russell Pope and consisted of a half-circle memorial situated next to a circular basin. The plan was never funded by Congress and was not built. The memorial's chance came in 1934 when President Franklin Roosevelt, an admirer of Jefferson himself, inquired to the Commission of Fine Arts about the possibility of erecting a memorial to Jefferson, including it in the plans for the Federal Triangle Project, which was under construction at the time. Later the same year, Congressman John J. Boylan jumped off FDR's starting point and urged Congress to create the Thomas Jefferson Memorial Commission. Boylan was appointed the commission's first chairman and Congress eventually appropriated $3 million for a memorial to Jefferson. The commission chose John Russell Pope as the architect in 1935. Pope was also the architect of the National Archives building and original West building of the National Gallery of Art. He prepared 4 different plans for the project, each on a different site. One was on the Anacostia River at the end of East Capitol Street, one at Lincoln Park, one on the south side of the National Mall across from the National Archives, and one situated on the tidal basin, directly south of the White House. The commission preferred the site on the tidal basin mainly because it was the most prominent site and because it completed the 4-point plan called for by the Macmillan Commission: Lincoln Memorial to the Capitol, White House to the tidal basin site. Pope designed a very large Pantheon-like structure, to sit on a square platform, and to be flanked by two smaller, rectangular, colonnaded buildings. Construction began on December 15, 1938, and the cornerstone was laid on November 15, 1939, by Franklin Roosevelt. By this point Pope had died, 1937, and his surviving partners, Daniel P. Higgins and Otto R. Eggers, took over construction of the memorial. The design was modified at the request of the Commission of Fine Arts to a more conservative design. Construction commenced amid significant opposition. The Commission of Fine Arts never actually approved any design for the memorial and even published a pamphlet in 1939 opposing both the design and site of the memorial. In addition, many Washingtonians opposed the site because it was not aligned with L'Enfant's original plan. Finally, many well-established Tellman cherry trees had to be removed for construction. Construction continued amid the opposition. In 1939, the Memorial Commission hosted a competition to select a sculptor for the planned statue in the center of the memorial. They received 101 entries and chose 6 finalists. Of the 6, Rudolph Evans was chosen as the main sculptor and Adolph A. Weinman was chosen to sculpt the pediment relief situated above the entrance. Landscape architect Frederick Law Olmsted Jr. designed the memorial landscape. The Olmsted planting plan installed at the time of construction featured a simple design within a circular driveway, primarily evergreen trees with limited flowering trees and shrubs. The design was perceived as too thin, so white pines were added and some other plantings took place before the dedication in 1943. Many changes to Olmsted's plans occurred in the 1970s, while 1993 and 2000 restorations have attempted to restore integrity to Olmsted's altered design. President Roosevelt ordered trees to be cut so that the view of the memorial from the White House would be enhanced. Additional tree pruning was completed to create an unobstructed view between the Jefferson Memorial and Lincoln Memorial. The Jefferson Memorial was officially dedicated by President Roosevelt on April 13, 1943, the 200th anniversary of Jefferson's birthday. At that time, Evans' statue had not yet been finished. Due to material shortages during World War II, the statue that was installed at the time was a plaster cast of Evans' work painted to look like bronze. The finished bronze statue was installed in 1947, having been cast by the Roman Bronze Company of New York. As a national memorial, it was administratively listed on the National Register of Historic Places on October 15, 1966.